Look, guys, I'm going to level with you. Looking at the data right now, politically, Joe Biden is in some enormously deep shit. Basically, would be the most polite way of putting it, and that is the most polite way. It's also putting it mildly. So a poll out today from US Today, 38% approve, 60% nearly, 59% disapprove. That's monumental. You want those numbers to be the other way around if you're having a successful presidency. Not much better for Kamala Harris, but basically, voters of all stripes, all across the United States, have lost faith in Joe Biden. Now, a number of reasons, this is quite extraordinary. Now, these ratings are about as dire as Trump's ratings were at their worst points. Leading up to the election that Trump lost pretty badly, Trump's ratings were slightly better than this, actually considerably better than this, nationally. So Biden is in a really dire space. In terms of the 22 midterms, write them off, right? It will be a bloodbath. Big Republican majorities in the House and Senate if this holds. And I think we are heading to a position where Joe Biden is basically a lame duck president. Dead goose, basically, politically. Will be a lame duck completely after the midterms and will be unelectable in 24, so the Democratic strategists won't let him run again. Almost certainly won't let him run again, actually, if they know what's good for them. Not that the alternatives will be much better, but basically, some progressives are going to freak out about this, go, well, this is our best bet, this is, yes, it's true, if Biden and the Democrats do terribly in the immediate term, that does mean people, arguably more evil, have the reins of power, at least as evil, potentially more evil, and sort of just sadistically horrendous, have the reins of power. However, I mean, look, people are going to try and pin this on progressives. I will have no truck with any of that. I have a couple of things to say about this. This is a Democratic establishment administration, right? They are doing things the Democratic establishment way. They are running on that, and they will win or fail on that. And they can own it, and they can eat the shit sandwich that is heading their way, and they can own it. And progressives should not let them not let themselves get blamed for this absolute disaster. You think if Democrats were even more right-leaning than they are now, they'd be doing better? Really? Really? No, absolutely not. Now, the reality is, there is an opportunity here for progressives. I'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, why this is incredible, and one reason for it is, the media basically propped up Joe Biden to beat Sanders in the primary. Okay, they knew he was a disaster. They didn't scrutinise him. They propped him up. That's how he won. That's why he was popular initially. Now, as two things have happened. First of all, the only popular things about Joe Biden are the provisions from the Build Back Better bill that have 80% public support. Big, bold, progressive provisions. They're gone. They're gonzo. They're Dunsky. They're out of here. So that's not helping. That's why that bill is now much less popular. The most progressive things about this administration were the only popular things. They're gone. So you've got that gone. But also what you've had is when Biden sort of put middle finger up to the deep state and withdrew from Afghanistan, however haphazardly, also looking at when, for example, that Build Back Better bill did have a couple of provisions. They're all gone now, obviously, but when it was $3.5 trillion, when there were some provisions in there that would have helped working class people, that also contributed. When both those things happened, the media that had been propping him up for months, years, basically, since 2019 when he ran, and 2020 when they coalesced around him to stop Bernie, that same media has turned on him, started taking a few pot shots here and there, and just like that, man's one of the least popular presidents the United States has ever seen. Which really is something. But what I will say is this. If progressives can win that argument and say, look, this is not down to us, are you fucking insane? Of course this isn't down to us. If they can win that argument, okay, and make that case, what you have right now is you have the Democratic base losing faith in Biden. He is unelectable nationally unless this dramatically improves. You don't normally see things improve to that extent. You hardly ever do. So what I'm basically saying is they're going to run Harris or Mayor Pete as the. So first of all, Biden not running for re-election. That's good for progressives in the primaries. But also, you have to remember this. If it's Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg carrying the flag for the Democratic establishment after this shit show where nothing's been delivered in the primaries in 2024, that is manna from heaven for progressives. If I was a Justice Democrat strategist, I would be over the moon. If you tell me you've got to beat Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris. Great. Time for dinner as well. Easy. They're both terrible media performers. They fall apart, fold like a piece of paper. Easy. Inauthentic, vacuous career politicians. At least Biden had, he's half gone, but he had a little bit of more authenticity and depth than those posers. No one likes them. People liked Kamala Harris initially because she ran on pro-working class policies. Of course she was popular then, but she's completely basically sold her soul to the Democratic establishment. She was never a progressive. Pete Buttigieg the same. So, of course, they've got nothing going for them. They're completely inauthentic shills. They will defend anything. Any shit sandwich Joe Biden wants to serve you, they will go on State of the Union on CNN and defend it. So you've got all these factors together. There is an opportunity for progressives to take these people down in 2024. It doesn't have to happen. Nothing's inevitable. Maybe someone worse comes along and says we need to move further right. Joe Manchin for president or something, God, that would be a disaster. But what I'm basically saying is these people are failing by their own terms. What have they just passed? They just passed the bipartisan bill. That is the paid and written for lobbyists charter. And they've cut out all the progressive provisions from the BBB bill. This is not progressive overreach. This is the Democratic establishment doing business as usual, except they're spending a teeny weeny bit more. Just slightly to the left of Obama. Just a tiny bit. Meaningless. Because the crisis is bigger. So essentially what I'm saying is, this is bad. If you're Joe Biden, this is terrible. If you're a progressive, why so glum, chum? This could go well for you. This could go well. With the right strategists, the right candidates, you play your cards right, whatever you do, don't run with Joe Biden. Don't like Pramila Jayapal going out and saying, the president's a visionary, we're right with the president. You do not want to associate yourself, or any progressives, with the president. And if you're trying to do that, maybe you're not a progressive. Because right now, associate yourself with the president, you're associating yourself with a corrupt and failing establishment, and the fake populist Republicans will never let that go. And you'll be absolutely creamed in a general election against them for that. Don't run as we're just the nicer wing of the establishment Democrats. Run as aggressive insurgents. Find Donald Trump's hideous, but find a progressive Donald Trump, right? Find an individual that can take down the Democratic establishment and remold the party in an aggressively left populist direction. So instead of xenophobia and weird culture war nonsense, which is what the Republican Party is going for, go for bread and butter working class issues, right? Aggressive anti-establishment, anti-elite populism. You think Kamala Harris can serve that? You think Kamala Harris can beat that in the primary? I certainly don't. I think it's possible. I think you can tip Democratic primary voters that way if circumstances go the right way. You have the right candidate, you build up loyalty. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about Biden's ratings. More content coming for you soon. I've just written about this. My medium is Toby Joshua Politics, all one word, look it up. We're also, of course, doing the Race for Congress 2022 coverage. There'll be more on that soon. Another article on that coming out very soon. and there's a written article right now about the Biden polling. Basically, subscribe and check out the Medium articles. Lots more US politics coverage from a unashamedly socialist perspective coming to you very soon. I've been Toby. Good evening.